Lesson 2-3 is taking it one step further than we've been so far. So we did one-step equations, we did two-step equations. Okay, that's what you just took your quiz on, were the one and the two-step. Put it away. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add another step in. So this is just multi-step equations because it might be 3 steps, it might be 4 steps. It's just a multiple number of steps. So more than 2-step equations. So the first thing I want you to just kind of think about when you're doing a multi-step equation, I'm going to write one out for you here just to show you. In this type of setup, there's a lot of different operations happening right now. So you have addition. What's happening here? Multiplication. What's this one? Subtraction. And then you still have another multiplication. Okay, so there's a lot going on in this problem. Your job is to simplify it down so that you can solve for the variable. What do we need to do with that variable to be able to solve? Isolate, right? Use what? PEMDAS. Yes, you're doing PEMDAS backwards so that we can isolate, right? So we're going to try to isolate our variable. And we're not even going to solve this one right now. I'm going to give you different numbers. I just wanted you to see there's a lot of different operations happening in that problem. So here's an example for you. We're going to break it down piece by piece. So 5 equals 5m minus 23 plus 2m. Okay? Any guesses, educated guesses, as to what our first step should be right now? Avery. Combine like terms. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to combine our like terms. Is 5m positive or negative? Positive. If there's no minus sign in front of it or no negative sign in front of it, it's a positive 5m. Okay, now here's the question. This is where a lot of people make a mistake. Am I adding 2m or subtracting 2m? Adding, okay? A lot of people go, oh, 5m minus, and then they see the 2m, so they subtract them. That is wrong, okay? We don't want to subtract these. You always take the sign that's in front of the number. So this is a positive 5m plus 2m. So what's that going to become? 7m. So we have 7m minus 23. And if it's helpful to you, let's just do this. You're welcome to rewrite the problem. 5m plus 2m minus 23 equals 5. If that helps you, go ahead and rewrite the problem, okay? Then you can turn that into 7m minus 23 equals 5, okay? So there's one step of your equation. From here, this should look really familiar. Now it's a 2-step equation, right? We add and subtract first, then we multiply and divide. What do we do on this one next? You add 23. We're trying to isolate the m, so we're going to add 23 to both sides. So bring down your equal sign. We get 28 equals, this goes away, 7m. What do I do next? We divide by 7. Divide by 7 here, divide by 7 here, and we get, the 7's go away, so m equals, what's 28 divided by 7? 4. Okay, so the only difference in this problem was we combined like terms first, right? So you're going to combine like terms, and then you solve it like a normal 2-step equation. I'll take it up here. Thank you. All right, let's do another one like that, and then we'll move on. So if we have 11m minus 8 minus 6m equals 22. Do you guys like to rewrite it so the m's are next to each other, or do you just do that math in your head? Does anyone rewrite it?
Wait, what was the question?
Do you rewrite it so the m's are next to each other, or do you just do the math as you see it? Like, would you rewrite this so it's 11m minus 6m minus 8? Or do you just do 11m minus 6m is 5m? Okay. So let's just, it sounds like majority of you just do it. So our like terms right now are our 11m and negative 6m, or we would say it's minus 6m, right? So 11m minus 6m gets us what? 5m. Don't forget that m, okay? And then it's going to be minus 8 equals 22. And now from here, it's exactly what we did on Tuesday, okay? Actually, on Monday, we learned this, but we did it again on Tuesday. So you're going to do the opposite. So right now it's minus 8. You're going to add 8. So that gives me 5m on the left. Our 8s are gone. Bring down your equal sign. 22 plus 8 is 30. So you have 5m equals 30. What do I do next? Divide by what? Right, divide by 5. So divide by 5 here, divide by 5 here. I get m equals, what's 30 divided by 5? 6. Okay, so combining like terms. Good with that?
Yes.
You guys are excellent. You are excellent. All right, second example. This one is a word problem. It says Martha buys t-shirts and bumper stickers for her niece and nephew. Okay. I'm going to tell you bumper stickers cost $1 each. Okay. Her niece wants one shirt and 4 bumper stickers, which I'm going to just abbreviate as BS, okay? Not that kind of BS. And her nephew, you guys, her nephew wants 2 shirts and no BS. Bumper stickers. Bumper stickers, people. Yes. Okay, so bumper stickers are $1 each. The niece wants a shirt and 4 bumper stickers. The nephew wants 2 shirts and no bumper stickers. If the total cost of shirts and bumper stickers, total cost is $67. Okay, so she's going to spend $67 on her niece and nephew for all of this stuff. The question is, what is the cost of a shirt? No, but let's figure it out. Okay, so we're going to write an equation out to figure this out. What is our unknown right now? Shirt. Okay, what would you like to call a shirt? S. Okay, so for shirt, we're going to use the letter S. Sorry if my S's look like 5s. It says the niece wants 1 shirt, so we would call that 1S, and 4 bumper stickers. But instead of saying 4B, how much does a bumper sticker cost? $1. So if she wants 4, how much money is that? $4. So the niece is going to be 1S plus 4. Okay. The nephew wants 2 shirts, no bumper stickers. What's that going to be? 2S plus 0, right? So we don't even have to put the plus 0. We can just say plus 2S. And it says that all of that would total $67. Okay? So we're going to set that equal to 67, and then we're going to solve that. Dustin, you were gone when we did this, so I'm going to have you walk me through this right now. Because you don't know it yet, not because I expect you to know it. I just want you to understand it, so I'm going to have you help me. So 1s plus 4 plus 2s. What do you think we would do first to simplify that? No, I'm asking Dustin because he wasn't here yet. Okay, you could move the 4 over, but we're going to do something before that. What would you do with your s's? Do you remember what it's called? Combine like terms. Okay, so your first step on these multi-step problems is combine like terms. So we have 2 s's here. We're going to combine our s's. So 1s plus 2s gets me what? Now you may all help. 3s. Okay, so it's 3s plus 4 equals 67. What's your next? Subtract 4. Can I just tell you, I love you guys. You're such a good class.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is gone. 67 minus 4 is 63. Okay, what do you do next? You divide by 3. Okay, so 63 divided by 3 is 21. Now here's my question. What does that mean? $21. Okay, so one shirt is $21. Okay? So when it's a word problem, guys, don't let that freak you out. Take it one little piece at a time so we can set it up. You need to come up with a variable, right? Figure out what your variable is, and then attach that variable to whatever numbers it works with, and then you can solve from there. Okay? Questions on that? Okay. Next one. This is example 3. We're going to say, solve.
How many more examples would you
There are 5 different types of problems, so there's 2 more different types of problems after this one. But I might do a couple of this one. What?
We don't have homework.
Oh, yeah, we don't.
You have homework.
We do?
What? We have
For Friday?
Why did I say that?
No.
Yeah.
What time do we get out?
I know, but you're learning a lesson. It's due Friday. You have 2 days to do it. Take it easy, huh? 12:10. Typical. Oh. Right, here we go. So if I ask you to solve this problem, it's another multi-step problem. Any guesses what your first step should be?
Combining like terms.
What did you say?
Distributive.
The distributive, right. Okay, so this one, listen, this one is slightly different, okay? This is the distributive property. So if I distribute this, okay, what are you doing?
He took my money.
Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so for the distributive property, we're multiplying negative 8 times 2x first. What is negative 8 times 2x?
Negative 16. Wait.
Negative 16x, right?
Times the 1 is the 1 negative.
You can look at it either way. So you can look at it as we are doing subtraction. So if we're subtracting already, if that's going here, then it's a positive 1, right? We're subtracting a positive 1. So negative 8 times 1 is negative 8. And then minus a negative is plus a positive. Or you can look at it as negative 8 times negative 1 is a positive 8. So we would say negative 16x plus 8.
Really? I thought it was negative 16 minus 8.
It's minus a negative because you have this negative out in front here too. Right? So you have to do both of those negatives. Okay, let me rewrite it. Negative 8 times 2x minus 1. Okay? When I take this and I multiply it by this, do you prefer to see it as a negative 1 or minus a positive 1? Okay, so if that's how you're going to look at it, we do this, negative 16x, then it's minus, right? That minus is going here. So we've used that minus sign already, but you have this -8 over here, and that -8 is being multiplied by the 1, because we already used the minus, right? -8 times 1 is a -8. Do you need to step outside? Okay, then lock it up. So minus a negative becomes plus a positive, and you get -16x plus 8. Okay, so back to this. We are at a point now. That is this portion of it. So we have to set that equal to 36. So it's -16x plus 8 equals 36. Okay, what would my next step be? Damon.
Subtract 8.
Damon. Thank you, Damon. So if we take away 8, we get a -16x equals, this is gone, 36 minus 8 is 28. This is going to come out to a strange number. So now what do I do for my next step? You divide. Divide by -16, divide by -16. So x comes out to 28 divided by -16. What'd you get? -1 point. It is not 3. No.
1.7.
Right. Okay, so you get -1.75 or -1 3/4, you could say. Okay, that would be your answer. Okay, let's do one more. Distributive property.
No flip.
All right, so this one. What do you do first?
You
Distribute. So we're going to distribute that 3. So 3 times 2x is what? 6x. And then 3 times 6, we're subtracting. 3 times 6 is
-8.
18,
Oh, never mind.
right? So you get this set up. What do you do next?
-6.
Add 18.
Add 18.
You add 18, right? We want to isolate the x, so we're gonna add 18.
And then that goes away and then add 18 on the 18.
So this is 36 equals 6x. What do you do next? Divide by 6.
Divide by 6.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
And x equals 6.
There.
Okay. Questions on that?
No.
It's actually really easy if you think about it, but it's kind of hard in math class.
What?
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
All right. This one gets a little more challenging. That's not a bad thing. It's good to challenge yourself.
Stop.
Okay. So this one, I think people just get concerned because they see that fraction, right? And think, what am I doing with that? Now, ask yourself the question, when you are subtracting fractions, what do you have to make sure of?
The same denominator.
Right. You need to find a common denominator.
Throw.
Okay? How do you find a common denominator? You multiply by what? It changes, right? But you need, okay, so our numbers right now are 4 and 3. You're looking for a number that those are could both go into, right? So 3 goes into what number? 4 goes into what number that they could both go into? 12. Okay? One quick way, you guys, that you can always do is just multiply these two numbers. If you multiply 3 by 4, you get 12, right? So that's always a trick that you can do. But I can't just multiply by 3 because I'm changing the left side of my equation then. So you have to multiply by something that does not change the value. Well, 3 over 3 is the same as what? 1. When you multiply by 1, nothing changes, right? It's the identity property. So you need to multiply by 1, but that 1 is going to look a little different. It's going to look like 3 over 3. Okay? That's the whole reason we don't just multiply by 3, we multiply by 3 over 3. So, what is this going to become?
That's gonna be
3 over.
What's 3 times 3?
9.
9. So you have 9x, and then 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? Then we're going to subtract. Now we move to this other one. What do I need to multiply x over 3 by so that it's something over 12? Not 3 over 3, because that's going to get me 9. 4 over 4, right? We want to multiply by 1 so it doesn't change values. So we multiply by 4 over 4. Okay? So 4 times x is 4x. 3 times 4 is 12. And then that equals 10. Okay? Now we can solve it because we have a common denominator. What is 9x? Is it plus or minus? Minus. What's 9x minus 4x? 5x. Okay? What's my denominator? 12. Don't add those. Dustin, will you step outside for a little while? You can come in when you're ready to come back in, but I need you to take a little breather. So 5x over 12 equals 10, right? Right now, we need to get rid of everything but the variable. So you can think of this as 5 over 12 times x equals 10, right? If we just drop that x behind it, we didn't change anything. And you guys know how to solve this. Do you remember?
Multiplication.
By,
12.
Both sides.
okay, you could multiply by 12 and then divide by 5. But there's a quicker way. When dividing fractions, multiply by the flipped guy, right? So we're going to multiply both sides by 12 over 5 and 12 over 5. So this goes away, and we get x equals 10 times 12 is 120. This would be over 1 if you want to see it that way. 1 times 5 is 5. So you're going to divide that. What's 120 divided by 5? I want to say it's 24, too. Yes. Okay, so you would get 24 for your answer. What?
18.
I think it's 24.
I think it's 18. I won't like my seconds.
Yes, 24.
Thank you.
You're right.
Okay,
Good job.
questions on that? Okay, I'm going to show you one other type of problem, but if you want me to do another one of those for you afterward, I will. It's just that if other people feel good about it and want to get going on the homework, I want to give them that option too. So I will show you another type of problem and then we will be done, but if you want an extra example after this one, I can totally do that. All right, so here it is. 3.5 minus 0.02x equals 1.24. Okay, here's the deal. We are looking at decimal points here, right? Decimal point, decimal point, decimal point. Most people really are not a fan of the decimal point because it just seems more challenging for some reason. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the decimal points. And in order to do that, we're going to multiply by something. But whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other to make sure it stays consistent, okay? So you have to look at how many decimal places do we have. This has 1 behind the decimal point. This has 2. And this has 2. So if we're going to get rid of our decimal points, we need to move that decimal point 2 places. So essentially what we're doing is we're multiplying. Anyone know what number would be multiplying by if we move it 2 places?
3, 4.
5.
You're going to take a really long time if you keep going that route.
Wait, what did you ask?
If I'm moving a decimal point 2 places, what did we multiply it by?
100.
Not 1, 100,
100, yeah.
right? So if I moved it to here, I multiplied by 10. 3.5 times 10 is 35. But if I only move it once, all of these ones would still be decimal points, right? So instead, we're going to move it 2 places. Essentially, we're going to multiply everything by 100. So 3.5 times 100, you got to add a 0 in, would be 350. Then it's minus 0.2 times 100 would be what? 2, right? It's just 2. 1, 2 places leaves you with the number 2, so that's 2x. And then 1.24 times 100 would be what? 124. Okay, so you can move it like this, and now we know how to solve because we're not dealing with ugly decimal points. What would our first step be? Minus 350. It's positive right now, so to get rid of it, right, this is a positive 350. There's no negative in front of it.
Yeah, it's the subtraction.
This is subtraction, so that's a negative 2x.
350. Oh, that's a negative 2x?
Well, it's minus 2x, but we're not subtracting 350. We're subtracting 2x, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, back up.
You can't take 350 from 2.
Okay, think of it this way. If we have 350 minus 2x, okay? Right now, this number, think of it as 7 minus 4. Okay? 350 minus 2x. We're just using a 7 and a 4 instead now. This 7 is positive or negative? It's positive, okay? And then we're subtracting a 4. Okay, so now go back up to this problem. This 350, what's the sign in front of it? There isn't one, so it's positive, right? If there was a negative, then we would add 350. But it's a positive number right now. So instead, we need to subtract 350. So this goes away. Subtract 350 here. And we get this is a negative. So negative 2x equals 124 minus 350 is a negative 226. Okay, what's my next step? You're going to divide by negative 2 on both sides. So this is gone, and I get x equals, is this going to be a positive or negative answer? Positive, because it's a negative divided by a negative, right? So it's a positive, and then 226 divided by 2 is 113, and that is your answer, okay? Now here's the thing. Do I have to multiply by 100 to get rid of decimal points to be able to solve this? No. Okay? If you want to solve it with decimal points, you solve it with decimal points. That's totally fine. I'm just trying to give you a cleaner view of what it looks like. Okay? So you don't have to move the decimal point to solve. You could solve it where it's at. It just looks a little nicer when you turn it into nice whole numbers. Okay? But know this, your answer is going to be the same. Regardless of which way you solve it, you would have gotten 113 either way. Okay? Any questions on those?